Silver Junction, Colorado Territory, 1870. Carrie Prescott stood on the porch of her dying homestead, clutching the county deed notice that gave her 14 days to produce a legal husband or lose everything her father built. The drought had cracked the land, the cold snap killed half her cattle, and the well she shared with 3 neighbors ran lower every morning. Inside the cabin, a stranger bled through bandages she could not afford to waste. Frederick Garrett had collapsed at her fence line 3 hours ago, a railroad surveyor with a bullet in his shoulder and a bounty hunter's description in his saddlebag. Carrie did not ask questions. She dragged him inside, because leaving a man to freeze was not something her father taught her. Now she stood outside, weighing a desperate bargain. The surveyor needed a place to heal. She needed a husband on paper. Horace Ashford's name sat at the bottom of the notice, witnessed and notarized. Horace, who had courted her 2 years ago and never accepted her refusal. Horace, who owned the freight company and half the deeds in Silver Junction. Horace, who smiled too wide and kept his hands too clean. She folded the notice and walked back inside. Frederick lay on her father's cot, pale as January snow, dark brown hair matted with sweat. His eyes opened when she crossed the room.
"Where am I?"
His voice scraped like boots on gravel.
"My homestead. Silver Junction. You were shot."
"I remember. How long?"
3 hours. The bleeding stopped, but you need rest."
"Can't stay. They'll find me."
"Who?"
"Men who don't want the railroad survey filed. I mapped a route through land they're using. Smugglers."
Carrie set a tin cup of water beside the cot.
"Then you can't leave. You'll die in the cold."
"Better than putting you in danger."
"I'm already in danger. I need a favor, and you need time to heal. We can help each other."
Frederick pushed himself up on one elbow, wincing.
"What kind of favor?"
"I need a husband. Legally. For 2 weeks. Then you can leave, and we'll annul it."
Frederick stared at her.
"You're serious?"
"The county says I can't hold this land without a man's name on the deed. I have 14 days. You need a place to hide. I need a signature. It's simple."
"Nothing about that is simple."
"It's a deal, or it's nothing. I don't care about your past. I care about keeping my home."
Frederick lay back down, closing his eyes.
"All right. I'll do it. But you need to know what you're risking."
"I already know. Now rest."
She turned and walked out before he could say more. The next morning, Carrie hitched her wagon and drove Frederick into town, his arm in a sling under a borrowed coat. The church sat at the end of the valley, a whitewashed building with a crooked steeple and a pastor who asked fewer questions than most. Pastor Eli married them in 4 minutes. Carrie signed the register in careful script. Frederick signed with his left hand, his right arm useless in the sling. The pastor shook their hands and wished them well. Carrie paid him with the last of her father's silver. Outside, the cold bit through her shawl. Frederick climbed into the wagon without a word. They rode back in silence until the homestead came into view. Then, Frederick spoke.
"Thank you."
"Don't thank me yet. We're not safe."
"Who's after you?"
"A man named Horace Ashford. He wants this land, and he won't stop, because I signed a paper."
"Then, we'll deal with him."
"You can barely stand."
"I can stand when it matters."
Carrie did not argue. She helped him down from the wagon, and they went inside. That night, the first threat arrived. A knock rattled the door after dark. Carrie opened it to find the sheriff, a lean man with a badge that caught the lamplight. He tipped his hat, but his eyes stayed cold. The sheriff told her that Horace Ashford heard about the marriage and wanted to verify its legitimacy. He asked to see Frederick. Carrie stood in the doorway and said her husband was resting. The sheriff nodded and left, but his boot prints stayed in the frozen mud like a warning. Carrie bolted the door and turned to find Frederick standing behind her, his good hand on the revolver at his belt.
He'll be back.
I know.
This Ashford. What does he want?
He wants me to fail. 2 years ago, he asked me to marry him. I said no. He's been waiting for a reason to take this land ever since.
And now, he has a reason.
He thinks he does. But the deed is legal now. You're my husband on paper. He can't touch it.
Men like that don't care about paper.
Frederick was right. 3 days later, Horace Ashford came himself. He arrived in a polished wagon, wearing a black suit and a smile that did not reach his eyes. He carried a leather folio and a Bible under one arm. Carrie met him on the porch. Horace tipped his hat. Horace said he heard the good news and wanted to offer congratulations. He said it was a shame she had not trusted him with her troubles. He could have helped her long ago. Carrie thanked him and said she managed fine. Horace glanced past her at Frederick, who stood in the doorway. Horace said he did not recognize the man and wondered where he came from. Frederick stepped forward.
I'm her husband. That's all you need to know.
Horace's smile thinned. Horace said he only wanted to make sure everything was in order. The county clerk mentioned some questions about the marriage. Frederick limped down from the porch, his right arm still in a sling.
The marriage is legal. We signed the papers. The pastor witnessed it. If you have questions, take them to the county.
Horace opened the folio and pulled out a folded document. Horace said he brought a copy of the survey maps filed last month. He said there was an interesting detail. The railroad route Frederick submitted crossed land Horace owned. Land Horace purchased legally. Horace said it seemed strange that a surveyor would route through private holdings without consultation. Frederick's jaw tightened.
I filed the route the railroad commissioned. If you have a problem, talk to them.
Horace closed the folio. Horace said he would do exactly that. He tipped his hat to Carrie and walked back to his wagon. Before he climbed up, he turned. Horace said he hoped the cold snap ended soon. It would be a shame if anything happened to the well. He drove away, leaving wheel ruts in the frozen mud. Carrie exhaled slowly.
He's going to destroy us.
Not if I file the amended survey first.
You can't. You're healing.
I have to. If he uses forged deeds to claim that land, the railroad will pull the contract and I'll be blamed. I need to get to Denver and file the correction before he does.
Denver is 3 days' ride in good weather. You'll freeze.
I'll take the risk.
Then, I'm coming with you.
No. You need to stay here and protect the homestead.
There's nothing to protect if Ashford takes it while we're both gone. We go together, or we don't go.
Frederick stared at her.
You're stubborn.
I'm practical. We leave tomorrow.
They packed that night. Carrie loaded the wagon with blankets, dried meat, and her father's rifle. Frederick checked his revolver and reloaded it with steady hands despite the sling. At dawn, they started north. The valley narrowed into a pass choked with ice and dead pines. The wagon wheels crunched over frozen ruts. By midday, the cold turned brutal. Carrie wrapped a second blanket around Frederick's shoulders. He did not argue. That night, they camped under an overhang of rock, a small fire between them. Carrie fed the fire while Frederick leaned against the rock, his face pale.
Your shoulder. How bad is it?
Bad enough. I'll manage.
You should have stayed.
You should have let me go alone.
I don't trust you to come back.
Why not?
Because men like you don't come back. You finish the job, and you disappear.
Is that what you think I'll do?
I don't know what you'll do. I just know I can't lose this land.
Frederick watched the fire.
I'll come back. I gave you my word.
Words are cheap.
Not mine.
Carrie looked at him across the flames.
Why did you agree to this? Really?
Because I was dying, and you saved me. Because you didn't ask questions. Because you're the first person in 2 years who treated me like I'm worth something.
Carrie did not answer. She lay down near the fire and closed her eyes. Frederick stayed awake, watching the stars through the smoke. The next day, they reached the halfway point, a trading post called Moose Creek. The post sat at a crossroads, a sagging building with a stable and a telegraph line. Carrie bought coffee and hardtack, while Frederick checked for messages. The clerk handed him a telegram. Frederick read it, and his face went white. Carrie crossed the room.
What is it?
It's from the railroad office. They received a complaint about my survey. Someone filed a counterclaim with forged witness signatures. The railroad is suspending my contract pending investigation.
Ashford.
Has to be. He's faster than I thought.
What do we do?
We keep going. I need to file the amended survey in person and show them the original maps. It's the only way to prove the forgery.
They left Moose Creek and pushed north through the afternoon. The cold deepened. Snow began to fall, light at first, then heavier. By evening, the road disappeared under white. Carrie steered the wagon into a grove of pines, and they made camp again, this time with no fire. The wood was too wet and the wind too fierce. They huddled under blankets in the wagon bed, pressed close for warmth. Frederick's breathing turned shallow. Carrie touched his forehead and felt fever.
You're burning up.
I'm fine.
You're not fine. The wound is infected.
We're a day from Denver. I can make it.
You need medicine.
There's no medicine out here.
Then we turn back.
No. We finish this.
Carrie did not argue. She wrapped him tighter in the blankets and held him through the night, feeling his fever rise and fall. By morning, the snow stopped. The sky cleared to a pale, brittle blue. Frederick sat up, shaking but steady. They started again. Denver appeared at midday, a sprawl of wood and brick under a haze of coal smoke. Carrie drove straight to the railroad office, a 2-story building on the main avenue. Frederick climbed down from the wagon, his legs unsteady. Carrie took his good arm, and they walked inside together. The clerk at the desk looked up. Frederick laid the original survey maps on the counter and explained the situation. He showed the dates, the commission, the witness signatures. He said the counterclaim was forged, and he could prove it. The clerk examined the maps and nodded. The clerk said he would forward the documents to the commission. It would take a week to investigate. Frederick leaned on the counter.
A week is too long. Ashford will file more claims.
The clerk shrugged. The clerk said that was all he could do. Frederick gathered the maps and walked out. Carrie followed. Outside, the street bustled with wagons and foot traffic. Frederick leaned against the wagon, his face gray.
We did what we came to do.
It's not enough. He'll keep coming.
Then we keep fighting.
I'm not sure I can.
You don't have a choice. Neither do I. We're in this together now.
Frederick looked at her.
Why do you care? I'm just a name on a piece of paper.
You're my husband. That means something to me. Even if it's temporary.
Carrie.
Don't. We need to get home.
They started back that afternoon. The return trip took 2 days. The fever broke on the second night. Frederick sat up on his own and ate half a plate of beans. Carrie watched him from across the fire.
You're getting stronger.
Strong enough to leave when this is over.
Is that what you want?
I don't know what I want anymore.
They reached Silver Junction at dusk on the third day. The homestead looked untouched. Carrie unhitched the wagon while Frederick checked the cabin. Everything was as they left it. That night, Carrie cooked a real meal: venison stew and cornbread. They ate in silence. After, Frederick stood and walked to the door.
I need to check the fence line.
It's dark.
I'll take a lantern.
He left before she could argue. Carrie cleaned the dishes and waited. An hour passed. Then 2. She pulled on her coat and grabbed the rifle. Outside, the cold bit through her clothes. She followed the fence line north, calling his name. No answer. She walked faster, her breath fogging the air. Then she saw the lantern, overturned in the dirt. Beside it, Frederick knelt in the mud, his hands tied behind his back. Horace Ashford stood over him, holding a Bible in one hand and a knife in the other. Carrie raised the rifle.
Let him go.
Horace turned, smiling. Horace said she should put the rifle down before someone got hurt.
I'm not putting it down. Let him go.
Horace pressed the knife to Frederick's throat. Horace said he came to make a deal. He would forgive the debt on her land and let them both live if she signed the deed over to him tonight. Otherwise, he would kill Frederick and claim the land anyway. Carrie kept the rifle steady.
You won't kill him. You're too neat. You don't do your own dirty work.
Horace's smile faded. Horace said she underestimated him.
No. I know exactly who you are. You forged those deeds. You bribed the sheriff. You tried to ruin Frederick because he found your smuggling routes. You're a coward who hides behind a Bible.
Horace's hand tightened on the knife. Frederick drove his head back into Horace's stomach. The knife flew from Horace's hand. Frederick rolled to his feet, his hands still bound. Horace lunged for the knife. Carrie fired. The shot hit the dirt 6 inches from Horace's hand. Horace froze.
Next one goes through your knee. Walk away.
Horace stood slowly, brushing dirt from his suit. Horace said this was not over. He walked into the darkness. Carrie lowered the rifle and ran to Frederick. She cut the ropes with her belt knife. Frederick rubbed his wrists.
You should have shot him.
I'm not a killer.
He'll come back.
Then, we'll be ready.
They walked back to the cabin together. Inside, Frederick bolted the door and checked the windows. Carrie reloaded the rifle. They sat at the table, neither speaking. Finally, Frederick broke the silence.
I'm staying.
What?
I'm not leaving when the annulment comes. I'm staying here. With you. If you'll have me.
Why?
Because I'm tired of running. Because you're the only thing that makes sense anymore. Because I love you.
Carrie stared at him.
You don't know me.
I know enough. I know you're stubborn and brave, and you saved my life twice. I know I want to spend the rest of mine proving I'm worth the risk you took.
Carrie stood and crossed the room. She kissed him, hard and certain. When she pulled back, her eyes were wet.
You're an idiot.
Probably.
I love you too.
They held each other until the fire burned low. The next morning, a rider arrived with a telegram. Carrie opened it on the porch. The Railroad Commission cleared Frederick's survey. Horace Ashford's counterclaim was dismissed. The forged deeds were flagged for investigation. The sheriff received a formal inquiry. Frederick read over her shoulder.
It's over.
Not yet. Ashford won't give up.
Then we finish it tonight.
They spent the day preparing. Frederick rode into town and spoke with the pastor. Carrie gathered the neighbors and explained what Horace had done. By evening, the community stood with them. 20 families, armed and ready. They met at the church as the sun set. Pastor Eli stood on the steps and addressed the crowd. The pastor said Horace Ashford betrayed the community. He used forged deeds to steal land and threatened families who resisted. The time for patience was over. The crowd murmured agreement. Frederick stepped forward.
Ashford will come tonight. He knows the commission ruled against him. He'll try to destroy the evidence and anyone who can testify. We need to stop him here.
The crowd agreed. They spread out, taking positions around the valley. Carrie and Frederick returned to the homestead and waited. Midnight came, then the sound of hooves, multiple riders. Carrie counted 6 men approaching, led by Horace Ashford. They stopped at the fence line. Horace called out. Horace said he came to settle accounts.
There's nothing to settle. You lost.
Horace dismounted. His men followed. Horace said he still owned the freight company and half the town. He said the commission could be persuaded to reconsider. All it took was the right pressure. Frederick stepped into the lamplight, his revolver drawn.
You're done, Ashford. The neighbors know what you did. The sheriff's been reported. You have no leverage.
Horace pulled a pistol. Horace said he had 6 men and they had 2. The odds were clear. Then lanterns appeared in the darkness, ringing the homestead. 20 neighbors stepped into the light, rifles raised. Pastor Eli walked forward. The pastor said the community stood with Carrie and Frederick. Horace's men lowered their weapons. Horace stood alone, his pistol shaking. Horace aimed at Frederick. Carrie fired first. The shot hit Horace's pistol, knocking it from his hand. Horace stumbled back, cradling his wrist. The neighbors closed in. The pastor told Horace to leave Silver Junction and never return. If he came back, the community would testify against him in every court in Colorado. Horace looked at Carrie, his face twisted. Horace said she would regret this.
No. I won't.
Horace mounted his horse and rode into the darkness, his men following. The neighbors stayed until dawn, then dispersed. Carrie and Frederick stood alone on the porch, watching the sun rise over the valley.
It's really over.
Yes.
What now?
Now, we live.
Frederick took her hand.
I meant what I said. I'm staying.
Good. Because I'm not letting you go.
They went inside and closed the door. The weeks passed. The annulment deadline came and went, unsigned. Carrie and Frederick worked the land together, repairing the fences and restocking the cattle. The drought broke in March. Rain returned to the valley. The well filled. The neighbors gathered for a barn raising at the Miller place, then a harvest dance in May. Carrie wore her mother's blue dress. Frederick wore a clean shirt and his surveyor vest, the sling finally gone. They danced in the barn until the musicians packed up and the families drifted home. The barn emptied. One lantern still burned on a post near the door. Carrie and Frederick stood in the center of the empty floor, the faint smell of hay and sweat lingering.
Dance. With me.
Everyone's gone.
I know.
He offered his hand. She took it. They moved slowly. No music. Just the creak of the floorboards and the sound of their breathing. Frederick pulled her close.
I never thought I'd have this.
What?
A home. Someone who stays.
You have it now.
I know. I'm not letting go.
Carrie rested her head on his shoulder.
Good. Because I'm not either.
They swayed together in the empty barn, the lantern casting long shadows on the walls. Outside, the valley settled into night, quiet and safe. Inside, two people who chose love over vengeance held each other and refused to let the world take it away. Frederick kissed her forehead.
Thank you.
For what?
For saving me. For trusting me. For being stubborn enough to fight.
You saved me too.
Then, we're even.
No. We're better than even. We're together.
Frederick smiled.
Yeah. We are.
They stayed in the barn until the lantern burned low, then walked home through the pines, hand in hand, the stars bright overhead. The homestead waited, solid and quiet. They went inside and bolted the door. The fire burned warm. The coffee pot sat on the stove. The cot where Frederick first woke was folded in the corner, replaced by a real bed they built together. Carrie hung her shawl on the peg. Frederick added wood to the fire. They moved around each other with the ease of people who belonged.
Are you happy?
Yes. Are you?
Yes.
Then that's all that matters.
They sat together at the table, drinking coffee, talking about the spring planting and the new fence posts they needed. Outside, the wind picked up, rattling the shutters. Inside, warmth and safety held. Frederick reached across the table and took Carrie's hand.
I love you.
I love you too.
Good.
They finished their coffee and went to bed, the fire crackling low, the valley quiet around them. In the morning, they would start again. They would work the land, fix what broke, and build what lasted. They would face whatever came next together. But tonight, in the stillness of a homestead that finally felt like home, two people who fought for each other, and one simply held on and refused to let go. The stars wheeled overhead. The pines stood tall, And in Silver Junction, Colorado Territory, in the year 1870, a Swedish homesteader and a railroad surveyor, who chose love over vengeance, lived the rest of their lives, proving that some promises are worth keeping. Summer came. The valley turned green. Carrie planted a garden behind the cabin, tomatoes and beans and squash. Frederick built a chicken coop and brought home 6 hens from town. They worked side by side, dawn to dusk, and fell into bed exhausted every night. In June, a new sheriff arrived, appointed by the territorial governor. He rode out to the homestead with a stack of papers. The sheriff said the investigation into Horace Ashford was complete. Ashford fled to California. The forged deeds were nullified. Anyone who paid Ashford could file for restitution. Carrie and Frederick signed the paperwork on the porch. The sheriff tipped his hat and rode away. That night, they celebrated with whiskey and cornbread.
It's really over.
You said that before.
This time, I mean it.
Good. Because I'm tired of looking over my shoulder.
Me too.
They sat on the porch steps, watching the sun set over the pines. Frederick put his arm around Carrie.
What do you want?
What do you mean?
For the future. What do you want?
I want this. The land. A family. You.
You have me.
I know.
Good.
They sat in silence until the stars came out. In July, the railroad survey crew returned. Frederick met them at the pass and guided them through the valley. The lead engineer approved the route. Construction would begin in the fall. Frederick came home that night and found Carrie in the garden, pulling weeds. He told her the news.
What does that mean for us?
It means the railroad will run 10 miles north of here. It means Silver Junction will grow. It means we'll have a station and a telegraph office, and maybe even a school.
And you? What does it mean for you?
It means I have a job if I want it. The company offered me a permanent position as regional surveyor.
Do you want it?
I don't know. I like the work. But it means traveling. Being away for weeks at a time.
Then don't take it.
We need the money.
We'll find another way.
Carrie.
I'm serious. I didn't fight this hard to lose you to a railroad.
You won't lose me.
Promise.
I promise.
Frederick kissed her.
I'll tell them I need to stay close. They can assign me local routes. I won't be gone more than a few days at a time.
Good.
In August, Pastor Eli married them properly in the church. The whole community attended. Carrie wore her mother's blue dress again. Frederick wore a new black suit, bought with his first railroad paycheck. They said their vows in front of 20 families. And this time, they meant every word. After, they ate at the church hall. The neighbors brought food, roast chicken and potatoes and pies. The children ran outside, chasing each other through the pines. Frederick and Carrie sat at the head table, holding hands.
How does it feel,
What?
being married? For real this time.
The same. Better. I don't know. How does it feel for you?
Like I finally stopped running.
Good. Because you're stuck now.
I can live with that.
They stayed until dark, then rode home in the wagon. The cabin looked small and solid under the stars. They went inside and lit the fire. Carrie hung her shawl. Frederick poured 2 cups of coffee. They sat at the table, talking quietly.
Do you ever think about what would have happened if you hadn't been shot?
Sometimes.
Where would you be now?
Somewhere else. Alone. Probably dead.
Don't say that.
It's true. I was reckless. I didn't care if I lived or died. Then I met you, and everything changed.
I didn't do anything.
You saved me. You gave me a reason to stay.
You gave me a reason to fight.
Then, we're even.
No. We're better than even.
Yeah. We are.
They finished their coffee and went to bed. Outside, the wind rustled the pines. Inside, warmth and safety held. In September, Frederick took his first job for the railroad. He was gone 3 days, surveying a route north of the valley. Carrie worked the homestead alone, feeding the chickens and tending the garden. On the 3rd night, she heard hooves and grabbed the rifle. But it was Frederick, riding home through the dark. She met him at the door.
You're early.
I finished early. I wanted to come home.
I'm glad.
He kissed her and went inside. They ate dinner by the fire, venison stew and bread. Frederick told her about the survey, the terrain, and the challenges. Carrie listened, her hand on his.
Did you miss it?
What?
The work. Being out there.
A little. But I missed you more.
Good answer.
It's the truth.
They cleaned the dishes together and sat by the fire. Frederick pulled Carrie close.
I don't want to be away from you.
Then don't be.
I have to work.
I know. But you don't have to take every job. You don't have to prove anything.
I want to provide for you.
You already do. We have enough.
Carrie.
I'm serious. We have the land. We have the cattle. We have each other. That's enough.
You're right.
I know.
They sat in silence until the fire burned low. In October, the first snow fell. Carrie and Frederick brought the cattle close and stocked the cabin with wood. The valley turned white and quiet. They spent the long evenings by the fire, reading and talking. Frederick taught Carrie to read maps. Carrie taught Frederick to knit. They laughed at each other's mistakes and held each other when the wind howled outside. One night, Carrie sat at the table, sewing a quilt. Frederick sat across from her, sketching a map. He looked up.
What are you thinking about?
Nothing.
Liar.
I'm thinking about next year. What we'll do. How we'll manage.
We'll manage the same way we always do. Together.
I know. But I worry.
About what?
About losing this. About something going wrong.
Nothing's going to go wrong.
You don't know that.
No. But I believe it. And I believe in us.
I do too.
Then stop worrying.
I'll try.
Frederick reached across the table and took her hand.
We're going to be fine. We survived Ashford. We survived the drought. We'll survive whatever comes next.
Promise.
I promise.
They sat together until the candles burned low. Outside, the snow fell, covering the valley in silence. Inside, 2 people who fought for each other, and one simply held on. In November, Carrie realized she was pregnant. she told Frederick one morning over coffee. He stared at her, his cup frozen halfway to his mouth.
Are you sure?
Yes.
How long?
2 months. Maybe 3.
Why didn't you tell me sooner?
I wanted to be sure.
Carrie,
He stood and pulled her into his arms.
we're having a baby.
Yes.
I'm going to be a father.
Yes.
I don't know how to be a father.
You'll learn.
What if I mess it up?
You won't,
How do you know?
because you're stubborn and brave, and you don't give up. And because I'll be right there with you.
I love you.
I love you too.
They held each other in the kitchen, the coffee forgotten. Outside, the world turned cold. Inside, warmth and hope filled every corner. Frederick pulled back and looked at Carrie.
We need to prepare. We need a crib, and blankets, and diapers.
We have time.
Not much.
Enough.
I'll talk to the pastor. Maybe he knows someone who can help.
Good idea.
And I'll tell the railroad I'm staying close. No more long jobs.
You don't have to do that.
Yes, I do. I'm not missing this.
Thank you
For what?
for being here. For staying.
I'm not going anywhere.
They spent the rest of the morning planning. Frederick sketched a crib design. Carrie made a list of supplies. They worked together, side by side, the way they always did. In December, the valley froze solid. The well iced over. Carrie and Frederick broke the ice every morning and hauled water to the cabin. The chickens stopped laying. The cattle huddled together for warmth. One night, a blizzard hit. The wind screamed through the pines, shaking the cabin. Snow piled against the door. Frederick kept the fire burning while Carrie made soup. They ate in silence, listening to the storm.
It's bad out there.
Yeah,
The cattle.
they'll be fine. They're in the barn.
What if the barn collapses?
It won't. I reinforced it last month.
You're sure?
I'm sure.
Okay.
They finished eating and sat by the fire. Carrie leaned against Frederick.
I'm scared
Of what?
of everything. The baby. The winter. Losing you.
You're not going to lose me.
You don't know that.
Yes, I do. I'm not going anywhere. I told you that.
I know. But I still worry.
Then let me worry for both of us. You focus on staying warm and taking care of yourself.
Okay.
Okay.
They sat together until the storm passed. In the morning, the valley was buried under 3 feet of snow. Frederick dug a path to the barn and checked the cattle. They were alive, cold, but alive. He fed them and returned to the cabin. Carrie was waiting with hot coffee.
They're fine.
Good.
We'll be fine too.
I know.
The winter stretched on. The days were short and cold. The nights were long and quiet. Carrie's belly grew. Frederick built the crib and sanded it smooth. Carrie sewed blankets and tiny clothes. They prepared for the baby, one day at a time. In January, Pastor Eli visited. He brought supplies, flour and salt and coffee. He stayed for dinner and talked about the community. Everyone was surviving. No one had been lost to the cold. The neighbors were looking out for each other. Before he left, the pastor prayed with them. The pastor prayed for their health and safety. He prayed for the baby. He prayed for the valley. Then he put on his coat and rode into the snow. Carrie and Frederick stood on the porch, watching him go.
He's a good man.
Yeah,
We're lucky to have him.
we're lucky to have everyone.
I know.
They went inside and closed the door. The fire burned warm. The cabin felt safe. In February, the snow finally melted. The valley turned to mud. Carrie was 7 months along, her belly round and heavy. She moved slowly, but she refused to stop working. Frederick tried to make her rest. She ignored him.
You need to sit down.
I'm fine.
You're not fine. You're exhausted.
I'm pregnant. Not broken.
Carrie,
Frederick. I'm fine. Leave me alone.
fine. But if you hurt yourself, don't blame me.
I won't.
She kept working. Frederick watched her, frustrated and worried. But he didn't argue. He knew better. In March, the baby came. It was a long night. Carrie labored for hours, gripping Frederick's hand. The midwife from town arrived and took over. Frederick was banished to the porch. He paced in the cold, listening to Carrie's cries. Finally, just before dawn, the midwife called him inside. The baby was a girl, small and red and screaming. Carrie held her, tears streaming down her face.
She's beautiful.
She's perfect.
What should we name her?
I don't know. What do you want?
Something strong. Something hopeful.
How about Grace?
Grace. I like that.
Grace Garrett.
Grace Prescott Garrett.
Perfect.
Frederick leaned down and kissed Carrie's forehead.
You did it.
We did it.
Yeah. We did.
The midwife cleaned up and left. Frederick and Carrie were alone with their daughter. They sat together on the bed, staring at her.
I can't believe she's real.
I can.
How?
Because she's ours. And we fought for this. We earned it.
I'm scared.
Me too.
What if we mess it up?
We won't.
How do you know?
Because we have each other. And we'll figure it out. One day at a time.
Okay.
Okay.
They sat together, holding their daughter, as the sun rose over the valley. Outside, the world turned green. Inside, a new life began. In April, the valley bloomed. Wildflowers covered the meadows. The cattle grew fat on new grass. Frederick returned to work for the railroad, taking short jobs close to home. He was never gone more than 2 days. Carrie stayed at the cabin with Grace, nursing her and singing to her. The baby grew quickly, her eyes bright and curious. One afternoon, Frederick came home early. He found Carrie in the garden, Grace sleeping in a basket beside her. He sat down next to them.
How was your day?
Good. Quiet. She slept most of the morning.
That's good.
How was the survey?
Easy. Flat terrain. No problems.
When do you go out again?
Next week. But only for a day.
Good.
Frederick picked up Grace and held her. She stirred, but didn't wake.
She's getting bigger.
I know.
She looks like you.
She has your eyes.
Maybe.
Definitely.
They sat in the garden until the sun set. In May, a telegram arrived. Frederick rode to town to pick it up. It was from the railroad company. They were offering him a promotion, head surveyor for the entire Colorado Territory. The pay was triple what he made now, but it meant traveling constantly, months away from home. Frederick folded the telegram and put it in his pocket. He rode home and found Carrie on the porch, rocking Grace. He sat beside her and showed her the telegram. She read it twice.
What are you going to do?
I'm going to say no.
Why?
Because I don't want to leave.
It's a good opportunity.
I don't care.
Frederick,
I'm serious. I spent my whole life running. I'm done. I want to stay here. With you. With her.
you're sure?
I'm sure.
Okay.
Okay.
Frederick sent a reply the next day. He declined the promotion and requested to stay on as a local surveyor. The company agreed. In June, the valley celebrated the 4th of July. The community gathered at the church for a picnic. There were races and games and music. Carrie brought Grace, dressed in a white gown. Frederick carried her through the crowd, showing her off. The neighbors smiled and congratulated them. Pastor Eli gave a speech about resilience and community. After, they ate and danced. Frederick and Carrie danced together, Grace asleep in a basket nearby.
I never thought I'd have this.
Have what?
A family. A home. A reason to stay.
I'm glad you do.
Me too.
Do you ever regret it?
Regret. What?
Staying. Giving up the promotion.
Never.
Good.
Do you regret marrying me?
Never.
Good.
They danced until the music stopped. Then they gathered Grace and rode home under the stars. In July, Frederick received another telegram. This one was different. It was from a lawyer in Denver. The telegram said that Horace Ashford's estate was being settled. Ashford had owned property across the territory, including land near Silver Junction. The lawyer needed Frederick to verify some of the survey markers. Frederick read the telegram twice, then burned it in the fire. Carrie watched him.
What was that about?
Nothing. Just old business.
Ashford.
Yeah.
Is it over?
Yeah. It's over.
Good.
Yeah.
They never spoke of Ashford again. In August, Grace took her first steps. She stumbled from Carrie to Frederick. Giggling, they clapped and cheered. She did it again. More confident this time. Frederick picked her up and spun her around.
That's my girl.
She's going to be walking everywhere now.
Good. Let her.
You say that now. Wait until she's into everything.
I can handle it.
We'll see.
Grace walked everywhere after that. She explored the cabin and the garden and the barn. Carrie and Frederick followed her, keeping her safe. In September, the railroad completed the line north of the valley. A new station opened 10 miles away. Silver Junction suddenly had access to the world. Merchants arrived. New families moved in. The community grew. Frederick and Carrie watched the changes, cautious but hopeful.
Do you think it's good?
What?
The railroad. The growth.
I don't know. Change is always hard.
But it could be good.
Yeah. It could be.
More opportunities. More help.
More danger, too.
Always the pessimist.
Always the realist.
Fair.
The valley adapted. Some things changed. Some things stayed the same. Frederick kept surveying. Carrie kept the homestead. Grace kept growing. In October, a stranger rode into the valley. He stopped at the cabin and asked for Frederick. Carrie met him on the porch, Grace on her hip. The stranger was young, maybe 20, with nervous eyes. He said he was a railroad engineer. He said he had a message. Frederick came out of the barn and approached. The stranger handed him a letter. Frederick opened it and read. His face went still.
What is it?
It's from the company. They're planning a new line through the valley. They want me to survey it.
Through here.
Yeah,
Can you say no?
I can. But it'll happen anyway. With or without me.
Then do it. At least we'll have some control.
You're sure?
I'm sure.
Frederick nodded to the stranger.
Tell them I'll do it. But on my terms. I work alone. I report directly to the head office. No interference.
The stranger agreed and rode away. Frederick and Carrie stood on the porch, watching him go.
Are we going to be okay?
Yeah. We're going to be okay.
How do you know?
Because we always are.
I hope you're right.
I am.
In November, Frederick started the survey. He worked methodically, mapping the valley. The route would run south of the homestead, cutting through the pines. It wouldn't touch their land, but it would change the valley forever. Carrie helped him when she could, holding the measuring chains while Grace played nearby. One afternoon, they worked on a ridge overlooking the valley. The air was cold and clear. Frederick stood beside Carrie, looking down at their cabin.
Do you ever wonder what would have happened if I hadn't been shot?
You asked me that before.
I know. But do you?
Sometimes. But then, I remember that you were shot. And you came here. And we found each other. And I stopped wondering.
Why?
Because this is better than any other outcome.
Even with everything we went through.
Especially because of everything we went through.
You're right.
I know.
Frederick pulled Carrie close. Grace toddled over and grabbed his leg. He picked her up and held her between them.
I love you.
I love you too.
They stood together on the ridge, looking down at the valley that had become their home. In December, the survey was finished. Frederick submitted his report. The railroad approved the route. Construction would begin in the spring. The valley braced for change. On Christmas Eve, the community gathered at the church. There were candles and hymns and prayers. Grace sat on Carrie's lap, her eyes wide. Frederick stood beside them, his arm around Carrie's shoulders. Pastor Eli spoke about hope and resilience in the year ahead. After, they walked home through the snow. The stars were bright overhead.
What are you thinking about?
Everything.
That's not helpful.
I'm thinking about how different things are now. How different I am.
You're not that different.
Yes, I am. A year ago, I was alone. I was reckless. I didn't care about anything.
And now,
Now, I care about everything. You. Grace. This place. Our life.
that's not a bad thing.
No. It's the best thing.
Good.
They reached the cabin and went inside. Frederick lit the fire. Carrie put Grace to bed. They sat together by the hearth, holding hands.
Do you remember the dance hall?
Of course.
Do you remember what I said?
You said a lot of things.
I said I didn't want to lose you.
I remember.
I still don't.
You won't.
Promise.
I promise.
They sat in silence, the fire crackling. Outside, the wind whispered through the pines. Inside, warmth and love filled every corner. In January, a cold snap hit the valley. The temperature dropped below zero. The well froze again. Frederick and Carrie broke the ice every morning, their breath steaming in the air. Grace stayed inside, playing by the fire. One night, Frederick came in from the barn, his face red with cold. Carrie handed him coffee.
How are they?
Cold but alive. I gave them extra hay.
Good.
How's Grace?
She's fine. She's been asking for you.
Where is she?
Asleep. Finally.
Good.
Frederick sat by the fire, warming his hands. Carrie sat beside him.
Do you ever miss it?
Miss what?
The old life. The freedom. The adventure.
No,
Not even a little.
not even a little.
Why?
Because this is better. This is real.
I'm glad.
Me too.
They sat together until the fire burned low. In February, the cold broke. The snow melted. The valley turned to mud again. Frederick resumed his railroad work, surveying small routes near the valley. Carrie tended the homestead and watched Grace grow. The baby was walking confidently now, talking in short sentences. She called Frederick Papa and Carrie Mama. She called the chickens Bird and the cattle Moo. Frederick and Carrie laughed at her and loved her fiercely. One afternoon, Frederick came home with news. The railroad company was opening a regional office in Silver Junction. They wanted him to manage it. The job meant steady work, no more traveling, and better pay. He told Carrie over dinner.
Are you going to take it?
I don't know. What do you think?
I think it sounds good.
It means I'll be in town more. Away from the homestead.
That's okay. We can manage.
You're sure?
I'm sure.
Then, I'll take it.
Good.
Frederick started the new job in March. He rode to town 3 days a week, managing surveys and coordinating crews. The work was steady and predictable. He liked it. Carrie stayed at the homestead with Grace, working the land. They found a rhythm, balancing the work and the family. In April, Grace turned 1. They celebrated with a small party at the cabin. Pastor Eli came. A few neighbors brought gifts. Grace ate cake and laughed. Frederick and Carrie watched her, their hearts full.
Can you believe it's been a year?
No,
It feels like yesterday.
and forever ago.
Yeah,
She's perfect.
she is.
We did good.
Yeah, we did.
They sat together, watching Grace play. In May, the railroad construction began. Crews arrived in the valley, setting up camps. The sound of hammers and saws filled the air. Frederick coordinated the work from the office in town. Carrie watched from the homestead, cautious but accepting. The valley was changing. There was no stopping it. One evening, Frederick came home late. He was tired and dirty. Carrie met him at the door with water and a towel.
Long day.
Yeah,
How's it going?
good. We're ahead of schedule.
That's good.
Yeah,
You okay?
yeah. Just tired.
Come eat.
They ate dinner together. Grace babbled at them from her high chair. After, Frederick sat by the fire with Grace on his lap. Carrie sat beside them, mending a shirt.
Do you ever think about the future?
All the time.
What do you see?
I see us. Here. Happy.
That's it.
That's enough.
Yeah, it is.
They sat together until Grace fell asleep. Frederick carried her to bed. Carrie followed. They stood over the crib, watching their daughter sleep.
We made it.
Yeah, we did.
I'm proud of us.
Me too.
They went to bed, holding each other. Outside, the valley settled into night. Inside, peace and love held strong. In June, a telegram arrived. Frederick picked it up in town. It was from a surveyor in Wyoming. The man said he had worked with Frederick years ago, before the injury. He was asking if Frederick wanted to join a crew heading west to map the new territories. The pay was excellent. The adventure was real. Frederick read the telegram twice, then folded it and put it in his pocket. He rode home and found Carrie in the garden, Grace playing at her feet. He sat beside them and pulled out the telegram. Carrie read it.
What are you going to do?
Nothing. I'm staying here.
You don't want to go.
No,
Not even a little.
not even a little.
Why?
Because I have everything I need right here.
You're sure?
I'm sure.
Carrie smiled and kissed him. Grace clapped her hands. Frederick laughed and picked her up, spinning her around.
This is my adventure now.
I'm glad.
Me too.
In July, the railroad line was halfway finished. The valley was busier than ever. Frederick worked long hours, managing crews and solving problems. Carrie kept the homestead running, raising Grace and tending the animals. They were tired but happy. One night, they sat on the porch, watching the sunset. Grace was asleep inside.
Do you ever wish things were different?
Different how?
Quieter. simpler.
Sometimes. But I wouldn't trade this.
Me neither.
We're doing okay.
Yeah. We are.
They sat together until the stars came out. In August, Grace started talking more. She said Papa and Mama and Bird and Moo. She said yes and no and mine. Frederick and Carrie taught her new words every day. She was curious and fearless, exploring everything. One afternoon, she wandered too close to the well. Carrie grabbed her just in time.
Grace, no. That's dangerous.
Grace looked up at her, confused.
You can't go near the well. Do you understand?
Grace nodded.
Mama.
Yes, Mama said no.
Grace hugged Carrie's leg. Frederick came over and picked her up.
You scared us, little one.
Grace smiled and patted his face.
You're too brave for your own good.
She gets that from you.
Probably.
They took Grace inside and kept her close. In September, the railroad line was finished. The first train rolled through the valley, whistle blowing. The community gathered to watch. Frederick stood with Carrie and Grace, holding them close. The train was loud and powerful, a symbol of progress and change.
What do you think?
I think things will never be the same.
Is that bad?
No. Just different.
I can live with different.
Me too.
The train passed and disappeared into the distance. The valley settled back into quiet. In October, Frederick received a letter from the railroad company. They were thanking him for his work. They were offering him a bonus and a permanent position as regional manager. Frederick showed the letter to Carrie.
That's wonderful.
Yeah,
You deserve it.
we deserve it.
What do you mean?
None of this would have happened without you. You saved my life. You gave me a reason to stay. You gave me a family.
You gave me those things too.
Then, we're even.
Yeah. We are.
They celebrated quietly, just the three of them. In November, the first snow fell. The valley turned white. Frederick and Carrie prepared for winter, stocking supplies and repairing the cabin. Grace watched from the window, fascinated by the snow.
She's never seen snow before.
I know.
She's going to love it.
Or hate it.
We'll see.
The next morning, Frederick took Grace outside. He set her down in the snow. She touched it cautiously, then giggled. She scooped up a handful and threw it. Frederick laughed and scooped up more, tossing it gently at her. Grace shrieked with delight. Carrie came out and joined them. They played in the snow until their fingers were numb. In December, Christmas came again. The community gathered at the church. There were candles and hymns and prayers. Grace sat on Carrie's lap, quiet and watchful. Frederick stood beside them, his hand on Carrie's shoulder. Pastor Eli spoke about gratitude and family, and the year ahead. After, they walked home through the snow.
Another year.
Yeah,
A good year.
the best year.
I hope next year is just as good.
It will be.
How do you know?
Because we'll be together.
That's all we need.
Yeah, that's all we need.
They reached the cabin and went inside. Frederick lit the fire. Carrie put Grace to bed. They sat together by the hearth, holding hands.
I love you.
I love you too.
Always.
Always.
They sat in silence, the fire crackling. Outside, the wind whispered through the pines. Inside, warmth and love filled every corner. In January, another cold snap hit. The well froze solid. Frederick spent hours breaking the ice. Carrie helped when she could. Grace stayed inside, warm and safe. One night, Frederick came in from the barn, exhausted. Carrie met him with hot coffee.
You're pushing yourself too hard.
The animals need water.
I know. But you need rest.
I'll rest when the cold breaks.
Frederick.
I'm fine.
No, you're not. Sit down.
Frederick sat. Carrie knelt beside him and pulled off his boots.
You can't do everything alone.
I'm not alone. I have you.
Exactly. So let me help.
You do help.
Then let me help more.
Okay.
The next morning, they worked together. Carrie broke the ice while Frederick fed the animals. Grace watched from the window. They finished in half the time.
You were right.
I know.
Thank you.
Always.
In February, the cold finally broke. The snow melted. The valley turned to mud. Frederick resumed his work at the railroad office. Carrie tended the homestead. Grace grew stronger and smarter every day. One afternoon, a rider came to the cabin. He was young, maybe 18, with a letter. Carrie took the letter and read it. It was from a lawyer in Denver. The letter said that Horace Ashford's estate had been fully settled. All claims were resolved. The valley was clear. Carrie folded the letter and put it in the fire. The writer watched, confused.
Tell the lawyer it's done. No reply needed.
The writer nodded and rode away. Carrie stood on the porch, watching him go. Frederick came home that evening and found her there.
What's wrong?
Nothing. Everything is fine.
You sure?
I'm sure. It's over. All of it.
Good.
Yeah. Good.
They went inside and never spoke of Ashford again. In March, Grace turned 2. They celebrated with a party at the cabin. Pastor Eli came. Neighbors brought gifts. Grace ate cake and laughed. Frederick and Carrie watched her, their hearts full.
2 years.
I know.
She's growing so fast.
Too fast.
Yeah.
But it's good.
Yeah. It's good.
They sat together, watching Grace play with the other children. In April, spring arrived. The valley bloomed. Flowers covered the hillsides. The air was warm and sweet. Frederick and Carrie worked the garden, planting seeds. Grace helped, digging in the dirt.
What do you want to plant?
Whatever you want.
Tomatoes. Beans. Carrots.
Sounds good.
And flowers.
For you.
For all of us.
Okay. Flowers too.
They planted together, laughing and talking. Grace played nearby, happy and safe. One evening, they sat on the porch, watching the sunset. Grace was asleep inside.
Do you remember the dance hall?
Of course.
Do you remember what you said?
I said a lot of things.
You said you didn't want to lose me.
I still don't.
You won't.
Promise.
I promise.
They sat together, holding hands, the valley quiet around them. Inside, Grace slept peacefully. Outside, the world stretched wide and beautiful. Frederick pulled Carrie close.
I found everything I needed right here.
So did I.
I love you.
I love you too.
They sat together until the stars came out, their hearts full, their future bright.